You probably made the hole for me.
You need to pay me a bit to finish them off properly.
Four-wheel supercars flying. Like, that's sick.
Like, talk about spectacle.
Mate, I haven't really drove a case. I'm like, well, what the hell is this? Like, I was just out of control, falling out of the seat. Rightio, so we're here, Supercars Drivers Only podcast, our first time on the show, episode 7. We've seen all the clips. A Gold Coast local, couple of imports. We're not too far from home, so what's going on, lads?
Oh, just trying to stay awake after that big drive up the M1, to be honest. I was hoping they were going to offer a coffee when we got here, but...
No helicopter?
Not to be. Definitely no helicopter. What's yours on today?
It's actually not a bad drive. It was like 55 minutes up here. So for me, I'm doing the trip a bit. We do Friday afternoon debriefs. So we finish at like 3 o'clock and it's like 2 hours home.
Yeah,
so
that's
fun.
That's not ideal. They're not thinking about you.
No, exactly. So anyway, that's another problem. But how you going, Aaron?
Yeah, we're good. We're all recovered after Gold Coast. I think it was a pretty rough weekend for everyone, regardless of the results. So.
Yeah, it was hard. So on that, coming out of GC 500, how'd everyone go? She's a big week, especially after Bathurst. I found that was pretty hard getting actually recovered and ready for probably what's one of the toughest races of the year.
Yeah, we're only saying before, like it's kind of weird where you have most of the year with a month in between races, and then you have like two of the essentially biggest races with the most risk of carnage, the closest together. So, like Bathurst is always, a big week. And then, you do that big stint at the end of the race, which is not easy. And then, I guess the one plus for us with Gold Coast that it's a home race, get to stay in your own bed, which is nice. And it's a bit cruisier, like getting to and from the track and whatever else. But, it's obviously a lot harder, that race now, than what it used to be. 300k races with a co-driver, and now you're doing only a little bit less by yourself. So, it's pretty physically and mentally demanding. For me, it wasn't. I wouldn't say I raced. I'd say I participated.
Did you get a participation award?
No, not even. Didn't deserve one. We struggled for speed, and bit of crash damage on Sunday was a part of. Well, I think half the field was a part of that. That shunt at what was that, turn 11, I think. It wasn't ideal, but it was disappointing. So hopefully can finish the year off a bit nicer, and my full-time career
big one.
In Adelaide in a couple of weeks.
Did you also at home? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Me too. It's good, isn't it?
Yeah. It's awesome. I think any time you get the opportunity to stay at home, definitely take it. Like a lot of the team stayed in the Rhapsody apartment actually, which is like on the inside of turn 4. So I don't think our rooms were as flash that the boys stayed in. Will was complaining on the first night, and I'm like, I got a bed here, mate. Like, I'll lock you in your room and won't let you out though. Yeah.
What about you, mate? I saw you dodging some stuff on.
Oh, I got lucky. Hey, like 2 times in a row qualifying with your mate Will. I got so lucky there. I just like come around the corner and the seas are parted, and there's just a perfect sized hole.
Actually, I was in that. So yeah,
you should have finished him off, mate.
Had a bit going on at turn 11.
You probably made the hole for me.
You need to pay me a bit to finish him off properly. So why'd you get back into the throttle? You should have been on the brake.
So I got lucky there, and then in the race got lucky as well with that as well. It was just like stopped, and then I was trying to find a way through, and then just looked up, and then there was another hole. So then I picked up a few spots there. So that's probably about as good as it got, and then made a bit of a mistake on pit lane entry. And then, we got a drive-through penalty, so that kind of made us a bit of a participator for the rest of the race.
You sped coming in? Did you lock the rears?
Yeah, I lost a little bit of time going in the race before, so I was like, have a bit of a dip going in. We're actually racing a few cars now, and then it was about when I plucked third on the way down. It's like, this thing's not pulling up. So, we had a drive-through for that, which kind of ruined the race a bit, but... we had relatively decent speed from the day before, but just couldn't convert it into anything after that. How about you?
I nearly did the same as you.
Yeah.
I nicked the fence actually coming in. I'm just braking. And I suppose you're just looking at your speed going down and the rear's just full chirp. And I'm like, oh, no, look up and I'm like, thunk. And then got under 40 just. But it's hard actually getting in there.
You got the fence.
Yeah.
Did you say?
Yeah.
What, like on the
wall? Like I'm just looking down at my thing, and I'm like, dunk. And then I look up and I'm like, oh, okay. I'm all good.
shit?
It's hard though, because I don't know, you look after the race and you look at your times. You're like, I'm half a second down coming into pit lane, but you're tapped.
Yeah.
But it's a hard one.
Yeah. And what about your weekend as a whole?
Yeah, good. Like good. 2/3, couple of surfboards. Happy with that. But yeah, I suppose if you said that at the start of the weekend, I'd take that. I've really struggled there the last couple of years. I'd only got one top 10, so a couple of podiums is good. But I felt like we had the potential, maybe Sunday to try and battle for the win. Even Saturday probably could have been a bit better. But my last few rounds, I've qualified good, but then my shootouts, I've been like 4th or 5th. I thought at Gold Coast I might have a chance from 4th, but no chance. You know, it's quite hard, I'm sure, as everyone knows, but it's bloody hard passing around there.
Yeah, it was crazy the gap that you guys had on, what was it? It was Brody and then you, Will, Cam. And then I think it was like 16 seconds back to like Randall or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mental.
It's nuts.
Like,
It was
had.
just flat out. You know,
Yeah.
that's something I enjoyed about Bathurst is you could just drive flat out, and I probably didn't expect that at GC. But and with the chicanes now, like, man, it's fast. If you're passing someone into turn 4, you're just going flat through there nearly.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's mental. Yeah, I thought that was pretty good without the what they did with the chicanes this year. I don't know. Do you reckon they could turn the sensors off on the other ones? Because I still think it could be like self-policing, really, if you take too much.
I think it is. I think on Sunday you saw a lot more four-wheeling, like on the beach chicane, once we got around it. But I don't know if we put the bundles back or not. Like, it's getting pretty fast through there is the only thing. Like, after practice 1, we were 3/10 up through quali last year at turn 1. Like, I liked it because I hate driving around not knowing when you get a sensor. I think that sucks. And people probably like, it's like double folding in tennis. Well, it's very hard for us to actually feel or see.
That's the only thing that I would like in the race is to know when you get it. When you trigger a sensor. So then you know where as well.
Yeah. Did you get warnings in the races?
Yeah, I actually got a penalty Saturday, but that was just a bit of a miscommunication because it was like, we got a bad sportsmanship flag for a curb hop, but then it was like, no, it's a cut, and then it was like, no, we got a penalty for a hop. So I was like, okay. And then I don't think I did Sunday, but yeah. I think majority of people
turn 1, 2 is pretty self-policing. Like, I reckon,
yeah.
Every time you went out there, at some point you've gone through turn 2 and you've taken too much and it picks up the whole front and you think you're just going to absolutely turn the thing into a bike and wipe 2 wheels off the thing. But the back one's a bit different because I feel like if you kind of don't quite get your rhythm, you just commit to just launching over turn 9. So I don't think anyone pushed it hard enough, but at the same time, I think you're going to get to a point where it's just going to self-police. So you just turn the rest off.
I don't know if we'd bring the bundles back. Like, I don't know. There's pros and cons to it all, I think, but it's a hard one.
Yeah. I think, what do we have? We had without bundles for the first time last year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I think
it was a disaster.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think, though, the footage that we got from last weekend's the probably coolest stuff we've got is just 4-wheel supercars flying. Like, that's sick.
Like, talk about spectacle. Like, you're seeing race cars like probably a good 2 feet in the air, all 4 wheels off the ground. It's pretty cool.
It is actually one of the best places to watch. I remember watching like co-driver session over at the beach chicane. I reckon it's probably one of the best places things you could watch a supercar on any track. Like, just like, it feels like you're so close to the cars and they're like so fast and flying through the air. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is sick.
Like the bundles, I think they worked up until the shunt. And then ever since they're taken away, there's probably been like 4 or 5 times where people have run through them and cut it completely. Whereas if they were there, it would just be monumental. So is it like, are people running through them because they're not there, or is it?
To be honest, there actually hasn't been a shunt in the beach chicane or properly at turn 1 since we've removed them.
Yeah.
Like not a proper big one.
No.
At least.
No, you're right.
I think you can afford to, like, even in practice as well, it's like if you make a mistake and you think you're going to make it and then you don't,
Yeah.
you can at least cut it
Bail out.
and, you still put a fair bit of risk into it, but you don't then have the dilemma of a tyre bundle staring you square on.
Yeah, for sure. Rightio. Well, Waters Saturday smoked everyone, and then Brody Sunday. It flipped around. Like on Saturday, there was a lot of Fords up the front, and then Sunday there was a lot of Chevys up the front. It was interesting.
Yeah. It was kind of weird as well because I think last year it was kind of the same few people in the top four consistently. Like you knew kind of who was going to be in the top three, whereas on the Saturday, Brody wasn't really
I think
fighting
he was
for
fifth,
a race.
but he wasn't super quick.
Whereas then Sundays converted it massively.
It was a big shootout lap.
Yeah.
He's had two crackers. Bathurst was a big one, but that lap which he put up on his socials was that was on in the micro sectors. So you split it into 8, as you guys know, into 8. He was pretty much purple.
Yeah, it's impressive.
But Waters was still fast on Sunday. Actually, it's a hard one. I was a bit caught up in it as well, but late in the shootout, I don't know. They certainly said it. Lots of sun come out, and us last three got quite slow. But Cam still had the speed. He destroyed his car in that last.
Tip flip things were fast all weekend though.
Yeah,
like
they
him
were
and Randall.
fast there last year as well, though, weren't they?
Yeah.
Lap 1, practice 1. He roaded his tyres and then come in first lap P1.
Yeah.
Like he's on it there.
Yeah.
I suppose he's just the usual.
And then
suspect
Randall
at
had to
GC.
start back a bit. He was like 11th or 12th Sunday, but still got back through to 4th. Would have been interesting to see if he started, where his car pace was.
Exactly.
A bit further up.
Yeah, I think
he
whole
would have
battle
been
up
up
the
there
front
as well.
for sure. Bumping and moving, fair play. What do you
What's
reckon? Well, I suppose I didn't really see too much, but there's a bit of bumping and grinding at Gold Coast. I don't think there's anything wrong with getting someone in their door and, at a street track and that. A lot of people have talked about getting rid of like 5 and 10 seconds penalty. I think if you turf someone, you should get penalised.
Yeah.
Do you reckon?
But kind of,
I haven't really put too much thought in it,
Yeah.
to be honest.
I think it depends on how bad it is. Like, if you kind of just move someone out the way, then it's like, maybe we should look at, like, you can just do return of serve pretty much and just move them away straight away. Or, like, but if you kind of spin someone or kind of fence them or something, then you probably should cop something because you've ruined their race and, like, potentially their weekend if it's bad enough.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I think I think the system's pretty good at the moment, and
No, I agree.
yeah,
I'm all
I think
for what they're
it's
doing.
not an easy job, and I think Beto's doing a pretty good job of it. So
Mate, I reckon they're having a crack at the moment, and I'm all for it. I think Supercars cops a lot of flack, but the last 2 events have been pretty cool. Like to go to. I mean, Bathurst, the street party and everything like that, Gold Coast, the light parade. I think even how they approach the curbs at Gold Coast, they talked to pretty much all of the drivers, got everyone's opinion on it, and stuff like that. I genuinely think it's heading in the right direction.
yeah,
Calendar and all that, everyone's going to have their own opinion, but I think as a category, everyone's actually having a crack at the moment, which I felt like we probably haven't seen for a few years. We've been pretty stable for what we've been doing.
yeah. Well, I think everyone a part of it wants it to be successful. So I think if they can sort of communicate, between the teams and drivers and supercars themselves and also the fans as well, I think that's important to listen to what they want. Yeah. But no matter what it is, someone's always gonna someone's gonna say it's good, someone's gonna say it's shit. So I think if you can somehow snag what the majority want and mix it up, then I think if you are mixing it up, it always creates a bit of that unknown, which creates the excitement.
Like the sprint races, I think that's cool that they're having more of them because they always tend to have pretty good racing, the sprint races.
Just go flat out.
Yeah, the only thing is having 2 on the one day might just be a bit funky because, like, you're gonna like not want to just dive on someone in case you stuff it up because then the boys are going to repair the car.
That's what we have like
Last year we had
or
that.
even this year, isn't it? Do we have no last year? I don't know. I've lost track, but
Yeah, last year we
There's
were
normally-
one on Saturday and
yeah,
two on Sunday.
two Sunday.
Yeah.
It's pretty like it's a busy day. Like some of them. Oh no, that was a Saturday. But like Tassie last year, you'd do 2 practice sessions, qualify, and race on Saturday. It was
Yeah.
actually fun.
Yeah,
It was heaps of fun.
yeah. You just need to be on top of things.
Yeah, yeah. You
Until
can't
you get to
roll
the end
out
of the weekend,
slow.
you're like, oh yeah, we missed that one.
Yeah, exactly. Weekend going. Well, on that, next year's calendar, unfortunately, you're not going to be a part of it, Slady.
No, you got the wrong person
for the
here
whole year.
to talk about next year's
Well,
calendar.
it's time for you to unleash on it. What are you?
I haven't even looked at it, to be honest. Yeah, I didn't go to the meeting in Bathurst, and then
Yeah.
I haven't looked at the booklet. So,
To be honest,
well, what do we got?
yeah. Look, 13 events. QR.
I know
the
what the
bend
Enduros
back.
are.
Yeah. Well, that's a good one. You going to drop any bombs for us today?
Nah, no bombs.
Look, I think when we all saw it first in the media, it probably wasn't explained right, and I wasn't a fan at all. But I think when they actually sat us down and explained it and the concept of how everything's going to work, I think it actually has potential, and I think it's going to be super exciting for the fans. But I still think a traditional championship, like I don't know if you guys watch MotoGP at the moment, like Bagnaia and Martin are genuinely going to the last round, like both with a chance.
It's pretty universal. Like heaps of all the championships around the world now, they're really close now. Like you look at MotoGP, like you just said, and it's going down to the last race, and Formula One's down that path again.
Yeah.
And
Even this year, we're
for
still
you
going
guys,
to the
yeah,
last round. but
it's pretty tight, and you throw finals into that next year. Like even if it was this year as well, then it makes it even tighter. Like they said something like it doesn't usually change who ends up winning when they've looked at it previously, but I think it opens it up because no one can just like take a rest and not push it too hard like you have to.
Yeah, and I guess like obviously that format of finals is typically more so say with a ball sport, whereas
the field don't change.
with motor racing you can have a failure.
Yeah.
It's none of your doing. I know it is obviously still a team sport, but yeah, so it's
It's interesting. I mean, I someone put it out. It'd be Will leading, myself second, Cam in third, and Matty Payne in fourth. So Chaz has had one of his best years, I suppose, as a championship of a whole, and he's going to miss out on a chance at winning. So and you could say Matty Payne, who's he's had a good year, but could come out as a champion. It's an interesting one.
Yeah.
If you're in Will's position, you'd be pretty pissed off if you got to Gold Coast, had a bad run, and don't fight for the championship. But
yeah, it's kind of weird as well. I guess we've all grown up doing championships. We've not done anything different. So, definitely, it'd be a lot different to be a part of. I would think.
it's going to be exciting. Like, I totally get the excitement factor.
Yeah.
Adelaide's going to be off the charts.
Yeah.
Like, going down to the last race. And I think you're going to see a lot of risk taken. Like, if you're in second or third, you're already at 10/10s, but I think you're going to see big quality laps. You're going to see some big moves and stuff like that. It should be pretty fun, I reckon.
Yep.
And then format or QR, the bend.
I think it's good having QR back.
Yeah.
Like we got a massive crowd demographic out there. Like I did an appearance in Flagstone before Gold Coast, and for somewhere that kind of felt like it was in the middle of nowhere, and just for like a free entry show, it was really busy. And I think they're talking about doing some other cool stuff around the same time as QR, which would be really cool.
What do you got for us?
Oh, I can't spill the beans.
Can
mate.
you? Come on.
Nah.
Oh, right.
Better
I think
for
it's
ya.
going to be unreal. I think it's going to be a huge event. It's like the NASCAR Oval. You can see the track from anywhere. I think it's going to be awesome. The bend is an enduro. We'll see.
I like the track.
I love driving the track.
It's really fun when you put it together a nice fast lap, but I don't know.
It's an enduro.
500 Ks around there could be a long afternoon.
I think people complained about no safety cars at Bathurst this year. The bend's probably pretty unlikely to have a safety car, I think.
Maybe they should do like 250 Ks of the full track and then like
Yeah,
halfway
gotta
through do
Joker
the
laps or
short
something
track.
like that. I love it. I really enjoy driving there. But it'll be interesting to do an enduro there, I think. Enduro track or in general, what are you going to add? Like, what would you add if we could go anywhere, or we could do for you, Slady, for next year, another enduro? Where would you do it?
I don't know. It probably just makes sense to make Gold Coast.
Yeah. You can't now, though, because it's finals. Isn't that a tricky one?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
It's got to be Gold Coast or Sandown, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, like it should be cool to have Sandown. Just obviously there's a lot of history with that race.
Yeah.
But I don't know, every year it's like, oh, this will be the last Sandown. And then it's
never.
going to, turn into houses or whatever. But I don't know.
Keep going back.
Yeah, we keep going back. So, yeah, but it would be cool to keep it how it was, Sandown Bathurst, and add the Ben.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I haven't really thought about it.
It's going to be interesting.
I reckon Perth, the street circuit they're talking about there.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be sick.
Like, take the part out of it that I'm local there, but the fact that they've kind of now got the chance to build a street circuit almost purpose built, so you can go through the whole design stage and figure out what's going to work and what's not, and then turn it into something rather than just try and put something together with permanent land that's already there. I feel like that'd be cool.
You obviously know the area that they're looking at?
Yeah, it's supposed to be around the stadium.
Yeah.
So from what I've heard, they're supposed to be doing something like similar to Albert Park and Adelaide, in the sense that they're going to build the roads as a racetrack that then turn into roads outside of it, but still have that street circuit element like Gold Coast and Adelaide, where you got big concrete walls and stuff like that. And I think like Crown are wanting to get behind it as well, so it'll be a big event, I think.
Yeah, it'd be sad to see Barbagallo go though, or I forget what it's, Carco Raceway as it's called now, but street races. I think when you go to Gold Coast, I'm always one for, you forget how good Supercars is until you get to Bathurst. Bathurst, Gold Coast, Adelaide, like we're getting 200,000 people a weekend.
Pretty good way to finish the championship off.
Yeah, I think you end the year going far out. Our sport's unreal. You know, like you have 600,000 people over 3 events. Like it's out of control. But another one. I'd love to start at one though. I'd love to start at Perth.
Ideally, I reckon start and finish with street races.
Yeah, because I think this year's Bathurst 500 wasn't the world's biggest starting event, I suppose. But if you get the atmosphere that we had at the last few now, I think to start the year, just try and get the momentum going a little bit throughout the year.
Yeah. There's definitely, thinking back to Newcastle or Adelaide, like a lot more hype and excitement, and definitely adds a lot more to the championship, I think, starting with one. But I also think you need to end with one too. So
for sure.
Yeah, could be good opportunity
with Perth.
With Perth, for sure.
Should we open our bag that we've got some fan questions?
Open the bag up.
Is that one here?
You just want to... Apparently some people sent us some DMs on Instagram. Let's see what they got for us.
From Josh, who were your idols growing up, and do you still take inspiration from them?
Do you want to lead the way?
No. You can.
I suppose my dad originally, still is, of course, but he's the one that I got into motorsport. So he raced motorbikes, so I grew up doing that. But Mark Marquez has been, I suppose, my idol. And I got to meet him a couple of years ago, which was pretty cool. He signed me a couple of knee sliders and that. So proper little fella.
Yeah.
But that's pretty awesome to meet someone like him.
Yeah. Be cool to, just on that note, cool to see him next year, I reckon.
I know, factory Ducati. Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah. I reckon Jamie was probably starting his real high peak when I was a kid. So that was something that I always watched, and now you get to work with him.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I guess being from Perth and like we're similar age, Dan was like kind of an Australian coming in, supposed to be the next kind of greatest thing in F1. So he was probably one that I always kind of followed and watched when I was a young kid, like stepping out of karts and into cars. It kind of showed you what was possible, I guess. Whereas like years leading to that, I guess coming from Perth and Australia as well, as there wasn't really anyone in that kind of time frame that kind of you had someone to look to and see what was possible as well. So yeah, they were probably my two that I picked from. Another question. What do you reckon?
Yeah.
Do you remember? I just sparked me then. I remember racing you at Darwin in cadets, and you used to run your steering wheel upside down.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, no, I did do that because I used to grab the spokes of the steering wheel, and Dad was like, "You're not doing that," so he spun it upside down. But yeah,
I've never seen someone run
That
their
was a-
steering wheel
that was a
upside
So that
down.
would have been
weekend.
like a flat top wheel, wouldn't it?
yeah, it was flat top wheel, but that turned into a flat bottom wheel.
Yeah, right. Bit of knee clearance.
Darwin.
Yeah, that
Did
was
you do Bundaberg the weekend before or not? Or you just did Darwin?
No, we just did Darwin. Darwin is always good for us because it's kind of an easier place to get to, which Supercars is doing next year as well. I think they're doing like the whole parade that goes up there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Did you win that weekend?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. Nathan Hearn got taken. Who? Benito and
Yeah.
Nathan Hearn got
Yeah,
taken
they
out.
shunted on the last lap.
What were they?
second
Were
last
they won
corner.
too?
Yeah.
What
and-
was that in? Cadet?
Yeah, we're in
Cadets? Yeah.
Just
Mate, that's when I was at its like open state titles at its
just
peak.
hustling in some comas, going
Yeah.
round and round with the pull start.
What about Brycey Forward? Is he same age as you guys?
No, he's a
He's-
bit older.
he's-
He
he's
would have
Darwin.
been there though, I reckon.
Yeah, he
Local,
was
wasn't he?
similar age as my
Junior
brother.
national light, I reckon.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, mate, he looked the part. Holy,
yeah.
didn't he? He had
Yeah.
the black, yellow, and blue. He had the custom suit, the custom helmet,
Yeah.
lucky design
Mate,
helmet. He
back
was the
back
full
in my
part.
day, if you had a painted helmet, you
You're
were
a big
pretty
dog.
special.
Yeah.
Yeah, ran the AGV and then an egg arrow for quite a while.
The
But I remember
AGV.
looking at like the Revolution article in Auto Action, like every week it came out, looking at like a Aride GPK or 3 or
Yeah,
whatever, and then the Bell Vortex. Oh, one day.
Did you have side pods when you used to race in go-karts?
Yes, mate.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, he's up,
Oh,
brother.
I think
Yeah,
JC
it is.
didn't at some point.
There you go.
Yeah, probably
You're
when
going
when
in the
he
fence at
started.
Adelaide.
He loves a bit of a post for like vintage kart
Yeah,
photos. He's
mate,
been
he
on
was
it.
a weapon though, wasn't
Yeah,
he?
actually, when you talk about idols before, and I've told JC this, I used to have a poster of him
Did ya?
in my bedroom.
Was it on
Factory
the
Tony
ceiling,
kart.
just like
Yes.
laying there staring up.
Nah, it was off to the side, but
He was 2-time world champ.
yeah, pretty impressive.
He was good.
Yeah,
Right.
very impressive. Next question from Ryan: how do you think Brody will do at DJR?
Well,
Yeah,
we're gonna find out, aren't we?
yeah. I tell you what, it's going to be interesting because it's probably because obviously he's kind of the staple driver, being the champion from last year, and then Bathurst winner this year, and switching brands. It'll be interesting.
What are you trying to say, Aaron?
I'm not saying anything. I'd just
Think
be
one's better than
interesting,
the other?
like see if he has any input because like previously, he might even jump from a Mustang to a Mustang or a Commodore to
Feel
a
the
Commodore, and
difference,
it
yeah.
feels different. Whereas now they're all supposed to be the same thing, but you're still going to get a bit of that
For sure.
feeling different in how teams prepare the car, the setup, and even brand to brand. Are they gonna? Is he going to be able to say, "Oh yeah, it does this a bit different and that a bit better, but that's a bit worse"?
I don't know. Has his engineer been announced? Is that common knowledge or not? 'Cause
know.
I was about to say something, but
Sounds
I
like
didn't
you
know.
just announced something there, Slady.
No.
Well, we'll obviously wait and see.
I think if it's what it's going to be, yeah, I don't think there'll be any questions.
No.
I think it'll be strong.
I think
As he has been.
This is the new championship will favour Brody. You just got to be good for the last 3 rounds of the year. Like he's obviously going to be top 10 in the championship,
Kind of.
without a doubt. But when you get to Gold Coast, you just get through. Like he's got to get a team good for the last 3 rounds of the year, which I think they're going to be fine.
Yeah. Like he's still going to have a good start to the year, but it kind of like for him, it gives him the opportunity to not have to come out guns blazing straight away.
He will.
He will, but like you
I know
don't
what you mean,
have
yeah.
to
Yeah.
then get you in the running for the last part of the championship. You've just got to be there in the points.
And he's always going to be strong at the last 3 rounds. You know,
Yeah.
you're going to get to Bathurst, you're going to get Gold Coast, Sandown. He's going to be good there. So I got no doubt he's going to be one of the guys fighting for the championship, and you know, certainly to get there.
Yeah.
On that, do they like say in NASCAR with that similar system?
Yeah.
Do the tracks like in the playoffs or the final 3 tracks, do they ever change?
Yeah. Every year, the
Yeah.
last race is a different track,
Yeah, so that's. I mean, I know it's easier said than done.
but it should
And
happen.
we were just saying that, yeah, you want to finish with a street race, but I kind of think that would help
I
even it up
agree.
as well. You know, if there's one
Totally.
guy that just is a freak around that track and that's the last track, well,
I
It'd be
totally
good
agree.
to mix it up.
I
but
think
it's a lot
especially with-
easier said than done.
everyone's like, yeah, football final, like the field. I'm sure it does change in the grass, but it's not changing what they're actually doing.
No.
They're still playing the same game. Where
Yeah.
for us, it changes so much. And as you said, some guy like you could
Or
go
teams.
you could go to Sydney this year, and Chaz
Yeah.
he's gonna smoke us,
Yeah.
But I think something like that. And the hard thing is Adelaide's tipping in so much money and doing such a good job. You wouldn't want to really finish anywhere else at the moment.
Well, yeah,
so.
and that's a thing. Like, yeah, it makes a massissive difference. I think. Like we said before, starting and finishing the year,
Big
for
ones.
the category and everyone involved at street circuits. So yeah, maybe not. Broc, this is from JD. Broc, who's taking Brody for a hot lap?
Don't know. I'd say you'll go with Will. They were obviously
Scotty
teammates
Pye.
last year. Yeah. If he goes with me, I'll just drive around at 40Ks for the whole lap. Does anyone know how much he paid for it?
Wasn't it like five or something grand?
$5,000.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah.
You want to give him a good lap for that.
Yeah.
He's put
What is it? The QR ride day.
QR
end of
ride
the year?
day. He's paid the money. He's put the effort in.
Did
You're gonna
Will
give him a
not
lap.
do it not too long ago
Newcastle.
the other way around?
Newcastle last year with Waters.
Would you let him
Waters.
change gears? Do you reckon you trust him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've only let my dad change gears. And even he didn't get it that good. It's nerve wracking though. I think even I'd nearly struggle doing it.
Yeah. I think
swapping.
the lights sneak up pretty quick.
It's always
Yeah.
a short shift, I reckon.
Yeah.
And just like
Or it just hangs
anytime
up
I've
on the
done it.
limiter and
Yeah.
doesn't go
Just
through. You're like,
clutch it so you
get
get
your
through.
hand off. Let me do it.
Yeah, I think he'll go with Will, I reckon.
All right, we still pressing on with these questions.
Do you want to do one more? Then
Yeah.
we'll-
From Aiden, what do you think of the Perth Street Race? We've
We've
done
covered
that.
that.
Yeah.
Be pretty awesome if it all
Yeah.
goes ahead. From JD, Broc, what can you take from driving with Will this year and apply to next year?
Look, he's been very consistent. I think I've won more races, got more pole positions, but man, he's got a lot of podiums. I think he's got 17 out of 21 or 2 podiums. So obviously we try to do that anyway, but he's been super consistent. A lot easier said than done. I'd obviously love to. He hasn't had any bad rounds, I should say. He had Townsville. He had a tough round, but apart from that, he's just been there all the time.
But what's been your worst round?
Taupo, I had a 23rd.
Oh, yeah.
I think
On
that
Saturday, yeah. Wet.
I've had that. Tasmania, Randall got me, and then a bit of a tough one at Sydney. So that's what's put me back a bit. But he's had one bad race pretty much.
Yeah.
I think all the others he's been right in the mix. So.
I actually had someone ask me that question on a radio interview. They're like, so how is Will Brown winning the championship when Broc Feeney's won more races?
Yeah, it shouldn't work like that, should it? No.
Consistency.
Out of that,
Exactly.
who do you reckon's been the most impressive this year? Like
I think him.
current drivers, rookie drivers this year. Who do you reckon?
Him, Will Brown.
Yeah.
I think he's made a big step up.
Yeah, I'd almost have to agree as well. Like it's pretty tough, I would say, coming into a new team and expect to perform. And I think it's something that not many people understand how tough it is getting a team behind you,
Yeah.
especially when you're coming in like with a driver that's been there for such a long time. Like it's not an easy thing, I don't think.
No, he's done a great job. I think Chaz as well has had probably arguably one of his best years. He's they've been bloody like Perth and Sydney. He's just demolished us. So he's had another great year.
Your pick?
Yeah, it sounds good to me.
Rightio. We got a few more to go through. Championship. Obviously, I don't really want to talk about that too much, but look,
Pressure's on, is it?
it's Will's to lose. It's not really mine to win at the moment. I'm a very long shot, but I'm one that it's not over until it's over. So it's 180 points. So it's outside a race. I'll try and get through Saturday, try and have a shot on Sunday, and then see what happens.
Could be roles reversed from last year. Maybe he gets taken out by someone.
Well, he took Shane out last year, so,
Yeah.
so don't worry, I'll remind him. But no, look, I think going down to Adelaide anyway with a decider's cool, even though it's probably not as tight as what I would want or the fans would want, I think it's still going to be.
Well, you've generally had pretty good weekends there.
Yeah, I've
obviously.
had a win and a second there the last couple of years. So for me, I just want to win the 500. Like that's big for me.
Yeah, it's Bathurst and Adelaide, isn't it?
Yeah, they're the big.
I reckon.
I think they're the big ones, especially
two,
coming second last year after so close. It's like damn.
Two trophies that you want to win throughout the year.
Yeah, exactly. And then on to the big dog. Hey, last full time round. It's your 450th race and 350th round. Is that right?
I don't know. I thought it was a few more races, 460 something, but yeah, yep.
Maybe we're referring back to that, but
yeah, somewhere around that.
Last one.
Yep.
How you feeling? You excited, nervous, upset, sad?
No, just normal, to be honest. Like I said, the last Gold Coast was pretty average, as was Bathurst. So I just want to desperately want to try and have a bit of speed and finish off with a decent weekend. So just treating it like any other weekend, to be honest. So
is the dog in you going to make one last appearance?
Are you talking about the Monday?
No,
or
the Slade dog.
Yeah.
You're going to get angry over the Saturday and Sunday.
Get what?
Get angry, hustle and bustle a few cars out the way if you need to.
Got to be near him first.
We want to see Slade Dog on Monday night. That's when we want to see you.
Yeah, I got an early flight Tuesday morning and 2 kiddies to get back to. So never say never. But
mate, I hope so. I hope so. I've heard some good stories.
Yeah.
Favorite racing memories, mate. It's not coming to an end. I suppose that's a good thing. I suppose you've been through it before now, but you're still going to be here with us next year for a couple of races. But,
yeah. No, like to be honest, I'm happy with where I'm at, and I've been in the sport for a long time. I'm genuinely looking forward to and excited, to what's next. It's not like I'm still there, hanging on, and I wish I could stay in there or whatever else. Like I'm done. Like that's me, and I'm happy with where I'm at. Like I said, so favorite and. Yeah, again, like you said, it's not like just cold turkey stop, at least with us.
Keep in the game.
I guess like in a lot of other sports as well, you get to keep on playing if you want to. Like, football, you just go down a few divisions and play locally or whatever else. Whereas racing's probably the hardest one, actually, because it's probably it's the most expensive and someone's got to pay for it at the end of the day. So, hard, but at least, as a co-driver doing the enduros, it's still a job, and I'll still try and put together some other racing just to stay sharp for the enduros, because I think that's what you need to do. Back to your original question, favorite racing memories. It's probably just for me like all the firsts. So back in like Super 2, like I ran my own team, and so the first race and round win at Wakefield Park.
At Wakefield, how was that? I drove it recently.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, I saw that. It's quite cool. Obviously, they've been through some dramas down there, and it's cool to see. You never like to see racetracks taken away, but I actually had no idea that they were doing what they've done to the track as far as the changes. So it looks really cool. But it was pretty tight and technical in the supercar. Probably, bit better suited to something a little bit smaller. Yeah. But that was 2008. And then, like I remember my first shootout, 2010 at Darwin with SBR, first podium, Queensland Raceway with SBR, and that was like 3 podiums in 3 races, which was, pretty awesome. And then, first pole, first win. So probably just and Bathurst as well, like that. Yeah, your first shootout there was pretty awesome.
Cool,
so,
isn't it? Yeah.
I think it's just you kind of you grow up and we get into supercars, then you wonder, am I capable, and is it going to happen, when is it going to happen, and then when it does, it's pretty cool. So there's probably not one standout. It's just all those firsts.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. What advice would you give if you could go back? Would you change anything?
Yeah. You definitely. You'd love to go
Bit
back.
of rear spring or something like that at one weekend.
No, just knowing what you've learned over. Well, this is my 16th year in supercars. So, and you just, the funny thing is you never stop learning. Like there's still things.
No, exactly.
Your last race meeting, you're like, oh, I learnt this, learnt that.
Yeah.
So, probably just, probably not sort of put so much pressure on yourself and try so hard. Just keep things simple.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, enjoy it, and just not be like you got to make mistakes, and then just not be as hard on yourself for making mistakes.
Yeah. So you told us you're not going to tell us where you're driving next year.
Well, I haven't. Nothing's
done?
No.
I suppose
You
for
guys
you,
got anything going?
Oh,
well, I'm in the same place next year, but I suppose for like someone like you, like with the rule changes next year with only 2 test days, it gives you guys a lot of value, like coming straight off a season, and more so like
mate, you'll be on the big bucks next year.
like I'm like, now that the rules have been said what they're going to be, what they are for next year, like I'm like, I got 6 test days this year. Whereas like someone like Kai, I don't know how many rookie days you get.
I think you still get 3 rookie days.
But even like, it's still a bit tougher because like you can't like choose when you're going to do them and stuff like that, as like with the VSC days and stuff like that. So taking those days away for a rookie will be hard for someone like Kai coming in and Cooper, I think.
I think it's just going to be the one. Like, I think you'll just lose the one. I think it's still 3 days. Do you still get your rookie days next year?
I thought it was only 2. I thought there was one that had to be done before the first round, and then just one more.
Which is a QR.
Do you mean?
But then
rookies?
I mean you get 3 rookie
got
days
ya.
a year. I think.
Yeah. Copy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think maybe.
Yeah.
But I think I haven't been told officially, but I think I got told 2.
Okay.
So then that's 4, which kind of makes sense because it's like 3 VSC days and then another 3 rookie days. So you essentially get double.
Yeah.
So if they
that
changed
makes
it to
sense.
2, that would make sense. So like if it's that, then you're losing 2 days, which I think in coming from Super 2 to Supercars now, I think is tougher than it's been before because the cars are so different. Like speaking to Jack this year, when they were trying to race Bathurst and Sandown, he didn't actually want to do Bathurst because he's like, you'd almost hinder yourself because they're so different now. So
I'd nearly rather race a Porsche and a supercar, I reckon, than a Super 2 and a supercar on the same
just because
weekend.
they're so far different, so that you don't
I've
get
done
things,
a couple laps at a test day
cross-
and
cross it over.
holy
Yeah,
crap. It's like,
I've
struggled.
done the same. Actually, it was actually drove your ZB at Winton.
Did ya?
Yeah. Obviously after you were finished with it, and you're just like, wow, it's
Different,
it's
isn't
crazy, but it's just funny how, you still get asked the question, well, what are the new cars like, and you kind of forget what the old cars are like until you drive one, and then you realise how different they are, and then trying to at one of our test days driving Cam McLeod's car, and I literally did like, I think I went out past and I just went straight back in because on the main car, like you do 3 laps and then you make a change for half an hour, then you're expected to jump back in and do a lap time within a tenth of a second and give obviously accurate feedback. I'm like, no, I don't want to mix things up here. So I guess like the one thing though for those guys at least, they've done, obviously Cooper's done wild cards and enduros and then a lot of testing this year, and then Kai's done enduros for a couple of years as well, and test days and ride days and whatever else. So at least they've got that under their belt. It's more so, I guess, just them going to tracks in a Gen 3 car for the first time, which you're not going to get with testing anyway. So
You rock up at tracks you've never been to it, you know.
I've been to Gold Coast before, like in Porsches, but like, man, the first time I went through the chicane, it opened my eyes because a Porsche you get
would have
so
felt like
far.
a limo, wouldn't it, in the supercar?
Oh, it was like Porsche, you get certain angle and then like you end up just running wide or whatever. Whereas the supercar felt like you take more curve and it just keeps on going sideways and sideways. You feel like you're gonna roll over. So that was probably my biggest eye opener for the year in terms of differences I felt between the cars. Like, wow, this is different.
Yeah.
So
My first time there, I'd done it a few times. Like, it was out of control. I was like P25 straight up. I'm like, what am I doing here? You know, like, it's nuts.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good. But I suppose for you, Aaron, rookie year, what do you think what have you learned? What's been the biggest? What are some fun things actually? What's been the most exciting part of it?
Been teammates with JC.
Yeah,
I'm sure you've
JC's
done lots
pretty
of
fun
fun
to hang
things.
around with. Yeah, but also it's like you kind of get to the level where you almost feel like it's your full-time job. Whereas, especially Super 2, like the year before, when I wasn't in Supercars, I was like really busy still. Like I did 14 races, I think, so busier than this year. Whereas last year in Super 2, you do 6 races a year, which I think it's tough because at the end of the day, motorsport's expensive, but I think it's something they need to try and improve on because like 6 races a year.
They're very spread apart, some of them.
Yeah,
as well,
like sometimes it's like 9-10 weeks between races and it's tough. So yeah, I suppose like having the year where you're like, oh, I get to go racing every 2-3 weeks is pretty cool. But yeah, it's been a tough year for the team and myself. Like I had a shocking first round, which definitely didn't help, but it's definitely been tough where both me and JC are down the back and we're trying to fight to get these things far forward, and that's probably been, I guess, the biggest challenge for myself to accept. More so in supercars, you can't just wheel the thing forward, whereas in something like a Porsche or a Formula Ford or something, you can drive them kind of almost beyond a bit more of what the setup gives, whereas a supercar, you kind of get to a stage and you're pretty limited, which is probably the challenging part. But when we've had like a half decent car and we've kind of been able to maximize that, that's probably been rewarding. Is like, oh, like I know the car was only good for here and I did that job. So that was like, you kind of go, oh, okay, like I did a good job that week, and it's not just me that's making mistakes, or it's not just the car or whatever. Like you feel like you've achieved something. So that was probably, like, I think Tasmania was probably my best round with qualifying and stuff like that, and being such a tight, close track as well. Like it's so full on in qualifying. It's outside of the street circuits. It's probably, I would say, the most hectic because you got so many cars in such a small space. You're going past cars that are doing 40 k's an hour, warming up for a lap, and you're blazing on at 12 tenths trying to put together a lap. So yeah, how about you? What's your favourite race this year, weekend?
My favourite weekend would be Darwin, just because I had good success there. But I reckon Bathurst was my best drive that I've had, which sucks because I didn't win. But I think that's one that I'll look back on, hopefully when I'm older, and probably be nearly most proud of. Well, up to date so far. Like, it was a bloody hard race. I was knackered for a week. Like I was rooted, and I spoke to Brody at Gold Coast. I'm like, how do you pull up? And he's like, yeah, no, I was cooked for a week. So that was a hard one, just going flat out the whole time. But look, there's been plenty of good moments this year. But yeah, it's hard. You still have you still have your bad days. You know what I mean? Like, it all looks sort of sunshine from the outside. You still have your weekends where you're scratching at the barrel. But look, it's been a good year for us, I think. So you're still in the fight going to the last round. So everything's sort of not too bad. What else we got, lads? I suppose it's been a pretty big year for everyone. But what's happening over the off season? Any cool stuff? You running? You got any running races? Or?
Nah, nothing. No events planned. I mean, I enjoy my fitness, so I'm always doing something. But no events. We're actually just going to go on a bit of a road trip.
Oh, yeah. Where to?
Adelaide. So
for the race or after the race?
Nah, after. Yeah, just over Christmas. So that's all that's planned at this stage.
Yeah. I always get intimidated when I see Strava's, mate. Don't worry. Like half the pace that I'm doing, you know.
How about you? You gonna break the go-kart out over summer?
I will. Yeah, I've had it. It's been sitting in my shed for like 18 months and I haven't used it.
Well, have you got a KZ?
X30. KZ's a bit full on for me. I can't. Mate, around Ipswich in the next 30, I can do about 4 laps and then I do a cool off and do 4 again, and then I'm
That
tapped.
place is the worst though. Like
Yeah.
if we had somewhere that was like easier on the body, I'd be
Yeah.
like, and there's nothing. The worst thing is there's nothing you can do to prepare yourself for
Just got to do it.
for how bashed up you're going to get. Like it's conditioning. So you know to not get as bashed up driving around Ipswich in a go-kart, you got to do it more. But
Yeah.
oh man,
Brings you back
that's hard
down to
work.
reality, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, mate, there's these little kids banging around all day, and I do 5 laps, and
You're toast.
I'm on my hand and knees crawling out of the thing. It's pretty embarrassing, to be honest.
Yeah, I remember when I drove with Scotty in 2020, like the Enduros. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll do, because that was like the COVID year, so you couldn't really do any other racing. Well, I had a heap of other racing lined up, but overseas, and nothing happened. So I was like, oh, I'll do 3 or 4 days in a go-kart, just get a bit of match fitness, get the eye and whatever else. So I got like 3 sessions into the first day, and I was like, no, I'm done. My ribs, and I never had any problems with my ribs like throughout 8 years of go-karting, and I wore a rib protector and everything. Didn't break anything, but must have just been like a bit of cartilage or whatever. Like finished, I think the 3rd session on the in lap. I was like, oh, I feel a little bit there. Rolled out for the next session. I'm like, I'm done. Yeah,
I did the same. It was before Sandown in my first year, and I did 2 days in 1 week, like a few days apart. Went out, and I went out, and the first turn, I'm like, oh, that hurts. And I'm like, I'm here, like, I'm going to bang around for that. I couldn't sleep on that side for a week. I rocked up to race weekend, like, oh, I hope no one hits me. Like, it's hard work.
Like, yeah, it was good when, was it Pimpama?
Yeah.
That was open.
Bit easier on the body.
Yeah.
It's probably like one of the toughest things, I think, as a kid when you're in go-karts is no one quite understands what you're doing and what you're trying to, like, achieve and stuff like that. Like, to put it into perspective, I had caught up with Liam Lawson when I was over in Europe over dinner at Silverstone, and like, to put it into perspective for people that don't quite understand how full on those things are, like, he reckons that the KZ at its, like, a track that's full on is not quite as an adrenaline rush as a Formula 1 car, but is probably the closest you can get to it. Because like around Ipswich, it's like 38 or 40 gear changes a lap. And it's
at least they can do something that's pretty similar though. Like for us, like what do you like? What's like a go kart still miles away from even a go kart that's doesn't have the power or grip of a KZ. Like it's still chalk and cheese compared to supercar. Whereas those guys, you can literally go and that's kind of the next best thing is a KZ kart to a Formula 1 car.
I did a kart swap with J-Dub. So he's got a KZ and I had an X30. So we swapped. Mate, I haven't really drove a KZ. I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, I was just out of control, falling out of the seat, and the down changes are so quick. And I think we both got out and I'm like, yeah, no, I don't want to drive that again. And he's like, I want to drive yours again. I think the KZ probably everything's a bit too quick maybe for supercar drivers.
Yeah,
you got to be quite, I suppose, slow on all your movements and late on your gear changes and that. It was quite the opposite.
It's funny though. I remember being a kid and just I just want to change gears. Yeah. Like when you're driving go karts, like I want to drive a KZ or I want to drive a Formula Ford or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Saying that though, with
the
new tyre next year, that's supposed to be pretty full on. Like I think the kind of story they're running was Percat's average heart rate or something was 118 on the old tyre, and on the new tyre it was like 180. So you're working pretty hard on the new tyre from what I understand.
Yeah, I'm
So is there definitely a new tyre for next year?
Well, I believe so.
Yeah.
I think that's a talk. I don't think they've really spoken about it too much.
And just the one compound, or is...
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think they've talked about on race weekends doing some different tyre stuff, but I don't understand it yet.
I think it's like the new tyre is going to be like the soft tyre. And then, because I think they were talking about from Saturday to Sunday will be different tyre batches.
Yeah.
So you run like the soft tyre all weekend, and then come Sunday, it's like, boom, super soft tyre. Figure it out.
But I think the soft is pretty quick.
Yeah.
They did some demos. They've done some demo stuff over the years, and they did some at Bathurst, and it's fast.
Jamie did like a 5 or something.
Yeah, he did a low 5 when we were all running around at 7. So I think we'll probably be back to a 203. Like a 204, 203 next year at Bathurst, which would be cool. But yeah, it's a hard one. Like, I don't know. I think you still need deg. Because I think if you just all go flat out, maybe...
think.
maybe just the fastest car is going to win, and if that car qualifies on pole, maybe it just wins. It's a hard one. Like,
It could change it though, because then people, they have to push to be fast, and then maybe people might make mistakes and stuff like that, and it's kind of, how hard do you want to push? Like, say you're going to Adelaide or Gold Coast, like, how much do you want to risk every lap, you know?
Yeah. I think, like, for me, Bathurst, I just drove flat out every single lap. You know, at the end I degged, but... and Gold Coast wasn't too bad. Like, you can still drive pretty hard there. You degged, but not
Yeah, I mean, the only thing you're
huge.
really sort of pulling back on is the throttle out of the two slowest corners, pretty much. So, well, not the throttle out of the slow corners, but you're still pushing pretty hard in the high risk areas.
No, exactly. I don't know. It'll be interesting. Well, I still don't really know what's happening next year. I don't think anyone does, but we'll find out in due course. But,
Yeah, come the first test day, we'll know what's going on.
yeah, a couple of days before round one.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's probably us. So
Who do you reckon's the hot tip for the getting a bit up and about at the gala, do you reckon? We've had old Jake the Snake, he got up at 1 year.
getting on it.
Who do you reckon?
No, I've already said.
Jason's
taken that
always
mantle
good
a couple of
showing
times.
sometimes.
Will or Davo got on it last year. We had our drivers' lunch last year, so everyone got on it pretty big there. Will Brown's he's gonna hit it hard.
Yeah.
Especially if he wins, he's gonna be.
Yeah, but I guess
He'll be
you
written
got to
off.
keep yourself.
I don't
half
think he will. I think he'll go pretty hard. I reckon the Wills will have a crack.
Yeah.
We'll wait and
Hopefully,
see.
someone does.
Yeah,
Wait and
someone
see.
needs to get
Take
rowdy.
the spotlight off of
Yeah,
me.
it's always good entertainment.
No, exactly. Rightio. Well, we've done our due course on this podcast, so
Yep.
off to the next guys for the next one. Thanks, lads. Good luck, Adelaide.
Thank you. Good luck.
See
See you in a
next
couple of
time.
weeks.
Sounds good.